Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 172 of On the Backs of Gods. I am your DM, Jillian, and we have our players today. Same as always, we have Kyle, Matt, Katie, Josh, and Greg. I think I'll go ahead and jump into a little bit of a recap, and then we can get the ball rolling in very separate places. Last session, the party, looking for shelter against something unknown that stalked the woods, jumped into a sinkhole that ended up being a temple to Scotty, the giantess goddess of the hunt and winter and survival, and very specifically skis and snowshoes and arrows. Very specific. In this space, Keld has a dream of waking up outside, very normal for the scenario, if, he was outside, and then imagines his friends with their eyes scratched up like a drawing on their knees looking up to him as he sinks below the crust of the earth and falls into the water, where he is stuck beneath the ice, and he can either choose to head towards what is above him, trying to break the ice, or what views him from below. And he decides to look down. And that's when he wakes up. Keld wakes up after that. Nana wakes up with a new compulsion, one to gather coin. And honestly, didn't gather a lot of coin. Just maybe a good palm full of coin before the party breaks their way into the only really other available chamber without, digging through rubble. And it is a large room with a sculpture of Scotty, adorned in magic items, and a large central 40-foot tall statue of a woman with many arms holding chandeliers. As all of you enter the space, the floor seems interested in not being floor anymore. That seems like it's its end goal, to stop doing that eventually. But you all make your way into the space, and after Nana makes her way to the halfway point, the statue in the center comes to life and accuses her of theft, because she is a thief. And and the party begins to realize that this being, though sentient, seems very open to suggestion and can be swayed a certain way, as Roshan starts by insisting that she may be the daughter of Scotty. And she's like, I am, and does not think harder about it than that. And is like, good, I am the daughter of Scotty. You didn't give me even one of their names, but I believe you. Thanks for the title. But after some back and forth, the statue stating that it's like, okay, fine, I won't kill your friend, but she does have to stay here and serve penance as a statue until I am content. And after some back and forth, eventually this giant statue says, okay, you can pray to my mother and ask her what she thinks the punishment should be for your transgressions. And Nana, after hearing nothing, because there is no energy in this temple besides the giant statue in the middle, decides to say, this is what your mother said to me, and lies to the big, terrible statue. That seems very content on a murder and petrification, depending on, which comes first, maybe both. And it seems that the statue believed that Nana was sent on a quest outside of the temple, and reluctantly is like, if you are going to be representing my goddess, you have to take a boon. But then when you finish your quest, you have to bring me the boon back. And Nana went ahead and took a circlet, and during this, Fen ended up also getting one and picked a bow. The statue also offered Nyx a boon of saving her, and that saving was, instead of you turning to ice, I could turn you to stone, and then you won't turn to ice. You're welcome. And Nyx is like, I'll put that as like one of the options. I appreciate it. So that's on the back burner. But after speaking to this thing, doing some trading, Rufio became her roommate and will be staying until the boons are returned. And it seems as you are leaving, is already playing with these statue versions of Rufio like they are dolls. And all of you make your way outside of the temple, where Keld makes the choice to confront Nana, who is obviously struggling in this forest. The forest taking energy, that of the physical kind and the mental kind. Keld, when he looks at Nana, almost cannot see her for the trees, and says that she needs to go back to the town to rest. That for the safety of the group, she needs to go back. And a bit hurt, Nana actually does not fight this even a little bit. Just is like, are you sure? And it's like, okay. And then they all kind of turn their focus to Roshan, who has multiple levels of exhaustion, and has been making the party move at an incredibly slow pace. And the longer you stay in this forest, the harder it is to ever come back out again. And after some back and forth, Roshan is convinced to also leave. And a message is put inside of the ring so that conversations can be had. Keld and Nyx are like, listen, the second we get to the next thing, which if it's the Water Crimson or wherever we get to, we will message you and bring you back. That's the intent. The tree is opened. They are on a mission of getting mentally well and acquiring jars, because nobody picked up jars at the store. Two very important, equally important tasks, as both of them step through the tree. And you all watch the magic fade as you are separated. Nana and Roshan, you arrive at the edge of town. Immediately, you feel like you can breathe. It is as if you were plucked up by the scruff of your neck out of the freezing pool of water and placed back on dry land. The warmth of the sun touches your skin, air fills your lungs. A terribly palpable weight is lifted off of your body and mine. Pains and aches you didn't even notice at the time begin to dissipate. You feel like being back in town shows you the stark contrast of the brushwood. As you had taken your time to get there, walking your way into deeper parts of it, you could tell that the energy was bad, that it was affecting you. But going from the brushwood to Dem Woods, it is like an immediate flip in energy. You know that something was eating at you. It feels as if you were pulled from the gut of some monster, that you were being digested in that place. There is no doubting that that place altered you in some way. That is not something you could contest with, even though you may still be altered at this time. You can see one of the rangers up in the tree kind of like leans over from his little watching spot and pulls out a horn and quickly like gives like 3 calls with it, and then leans back into their spot. What would you guys like to do?
So I think Roshan like walks through the tree and like doesn't look back, and when he feels the magic and crumples to his knees, and then hearing the horn gets really embarrassed. And
does Nana still have her startle condition?
100%. Your things are not gone.
All right. Yeah, no, so she like screams a little bit when the horn goes off.
So Roshan stands up, red as a cherry, and starts making his way toward the chief's house, because that's the only place that he knows.
Yep, it's the grandpot, and Nana's following after Roshan and just kind of trying to process. It's weird feeling at once still like weirdly paranoid. Like, even though it's literally just Roshan walking with her right now, she still feels uneasy. Not the same kind of uneasy as she was literally a minute ago in the middle of the brushwood. It feels different. She can tell that it's external. She can tell that it's something affecting her. It's just she's trying to figure out what it is, what it means, and what she can do about it. But I don't think she's very talkative through that, just kind of following after Roshan on the way to the Grandpots.
Okay. Both of you begin immediately making your way towards Nix and Keld's childhood home. And after a moment, you begin to see, summoned by these horns, you can see the Grand Pot, the Ladle, and Russ all making their way in your direction. And as they get closer, you get the front row seats of watching all three of their faces at whatever pace it is turn to panic, immediately shifting to panic.
They're all right. They're okay. We're not. It was harder out there than we thought. Roshan and I, we were a burden. We needed to come back, and we needed to get jars for the Water Crimson anyway, so the others are okay. They're not hurt. They're doing a lot better out there than either of us were, so.
You can see that like some of that initial heightened panic comes down a bit, but it is still like a people tapped out of this quest and our children are still in this quest. So it's like it's still very scary. It's still a scary thing to learn.
I mean, Nana doesn't look happy to be bearing that news. I don't think that's a hard thing to tell.
The ladle kind of steps forward. She looks first to the chief and then steps forward. All right. If your intent is to go back at some point, you should come sit down. You should eat and you should rest, so you can get well, so that you can be well. Well, I'll make something hearty for lunch.
Do you need some help?
Of course, if you have the strength, but please don't feel obligated to.
I'd rather be doing something with my hands. Although, before I do, I just wanted to make sure I could get a hold of some jars. Nyx said that she'd some in her room that she'd be all right with having emptied out and repurposed. So.
Oh, of course, take as many jars as you like. That seems to be a non-issue. You can tell by.
Cool.
She's like, take as many jars as you want.
I will be going in Nyx's room to get them. That's what I'm gonna be doing before I help you with lunch prep. Aside from that, that's all Nana's concerned about.
Yeah. If you get eyes on Russ at all, it is the face of a man thinking. And when the ladle kind of turns to be like let's go inside, let's rest, Russ steps forward. Wait. Angel, call Nyx. Tell her to open the tree next to the house.
Are you thinking about going in?
Are you leaving?
I am. And then when you're well, we'll switch.
Rosh.
Oh, you muted yourself. Roshan leaves.
No.
Roshan will. I guess he's about to do it before thinking, and then gives Russ a once over and says, do you need to get ready?
You can see like that. have seen this man's eyes. You can see the
Mhm.
beginning, like that creep of mania that begins to just sort of take hold of his face. And you see that he is also absolutely not thinking about that. Um,
Mm.
I was just going to grab my Morning Star.
I think Roshan says, without looking at him, if you go out there unprepared, the forest will eat you alive. Take 10 minutes, 15 minutes if you need help getting armor on.
We'll help you. if you
Prepare.
need it. Yeah. Please, Russ, please.
Roshan, go ahead and roll me persuasion. And I'll give you advantage because Nana's backing you up.
I am at disadvantage, but that is
So
still,
a straight roll.
yeah, 27.
Okay. He takes a moment. All right. 10 minutes exactly. But I'm not putting on my armor. I think that's a poor choice.
You'll want to move fast anyway. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just jog through the woods, and when you get jars, uh, we'll tap out.
Okay. Please be careful, Russ. I've been in woods, forests, wilds almost my whole life. I'm sure you've seen plenty of fucked up things. I wasn't ready. I was not prepared. Just please be careful.
Right. Ego is a killer. And if you came back here without a fight, I think you made a good choice then. If you thought you were baggage, you were right to remove yourselves. And then when you can contribute, go out there and kick ass or whatever you were doing.
Wasn't much before, but hopefully more so if we have a bit of time to get our heads right.
All right, the
We'll do our
10-minute
best.
timer started when you said 10 minutes, and
All right.
he starts walking.
Get on then.
He's going to go, he basically goes and just gets his Morning Star, and I think the accompaniment of either you guys or Keldon Nix's parents is like, and here's a little satchel, and we're just
Yeah.
throwing like
Mhm.
food and things into it.
Food, water, some worry stones, a couple extra comfort items. You need a blanket, bud?
Because of that, Russ will have his full inventory with him. He was going to have exactly one
The
thing
Morning
on his
Star
list.
and nothing
That's all he was
else.
going to have.
Oh boy.
So
I mean, it's not like y'all don't have the bag of holding, but still.
yeah, about 7 minutes passes, and he is also given like a to-go container of some sort of stew, and now just has his bag full of all of these things, and has now had time to put on a winter coat. Just average things that he was not going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm. Some boots.
after
It's very muddy out there. It's extremely muddy in there. Make sure you wear your galoshes.
all right, don't worry, I have my spare galoshes in the bag.
You're prepped then.
And then he will go outside, and he is waiting by the tree for Roshan to make a phone call.
I think Roshan did not follow him inside to pack and instead just kind of stares at the tree for 7 minutes. And when he gets back, Roshan will reach out to Nyx and say, Russ wants to come join you, can you open up the tree by your house so he can be with you? And he'll not make it to 25 words.
Okay. You receive that message, Nyx, probably as you were all either talking or about to start moving or were moving, depending, but you receive this message.
Okay. Did you make sure he was ready?
Standing there with his satchel and his morning star and his jacket.
She knows. She
Uh,
ran out with
already.
Dusty.
He's already.
He didn't
Listen,
have
You
anything.
are
He got
married.
married.
It's
so-
a valid question.
Man froze to death, and we got married. So
It's true.
It's now
Russ is happy
a
to just run
question.
outside without a coat on.
Roshan will spend another spell slot and just say he's ready.
Okay. Apparently, Russ is going to join us. Okay. I'll open a tree for him. Why not? We don't
Guess
need
we
these
shouldn't be
two
surprised.
good spell slots. No one need to be healed, okay?
Everybody
Okay.
keep it together.
Nobody fall into
Nyx?
a combat, okay?
You go and you open the tree, and the three of you, Keld, Nyx, and Fen, can look through, and it is the tantalizing visage of home. And you can see kind of a distorted image of your parents who have come outside and are like looking through the tree. And you can see that they like seem to be like leaning forward and like squinting, like they are struggling to see. But you can see them well enough to
It's probably real
pinpoint
dark
them.
in here.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm over here.
Hi, Mom.
Russ takes no time and immediately steps through the tree. Last chance if anybody wants to tap out, and is fully in the space. This is anyone's last chance to take a break if they would like it. Okay. And the tree closes. I would love to know what team still team Jars is doing as the door to that space closes and the ladle and the grand pot stare at the tree for like a long moment. Right, I should get started on lunch then. And she makes her way inside.
Nana's
and the
gonna
grand
follow after
pot
her.
Yeah, you make your way in. The grand pot stands staring at the tree. And Roshan, with your passive insight, you can see that the emotion on his face is guilt.
I think Roshan's like right there with him. He knows how hard it is to be out there and is I think he's like shaking a little bit like a chihuahua
Oh,
because there's just a lot of emotion about this. So
mhm.
I think he probably just stands there for a little while staring.
Okay. And eventually the grand pot does back down and will like place a hand on your shoulder briefly and make his way inside. You can feel the presence of the shadows in this moment, and you can feel them all very separately as you feel two energies standing with you, Shadow Prime and one of the other ones. But the third one has peeled off and is standing in the doorway to Keldon Nix's house, and it's just like looking inwards and feels like it wants to pursue something in there, but isn't. And the other two shadows are not following suit.
I think if Roshan thinks he's alone, he will just quietly ask, what is it that the other one wants?
Kind of a low rumble of two deeper voices mixed together. And you see kind of the lines, the wavelength of the third shadow kind of looks over back towards you. I want to follow her. The sad one. They're all sad, aren't they? You know. What's her name? Nana. I want to follow her. I don't know why. And this shadow seems to kind of recede back into the group.
I don't think he's in a place to press that right now.
Yeah.
I think he's instead going to find. Did we establish that they have outhouses here?
I can only assume. Or you can
I
dig
can
a
only
hole,
assume
whatever
in
you're
the.
vibing.
I think Roshan hides away from everyone for a little bit, and inside the outhouse will use minor illusion to conjure a mirror, and he takes a good long look at himself for the first time in a long time, and well, maybe what feels like a long time, since this week has literally been going on forever, for more than 6 months now, or at least 6 months now. And he takes in the new fine lines around his eyes, and he's angry that he doesn't feel in control, and he takes his hands and casts the small little cantrip that he uses to trim his hair, and I think he runs it along his entire head, and all of his hair falls off, even his eyebrows, and he looks in the mirror and takes a deep breath and finally calms himself, feels in control of something, and quietly slips back inside.
Very
The
chill,
ladle
very low key,
and the
very
grand
fun.
pot say nothing.
Love it.
They're not getting in the way of your Britney Spears moment.
It's what he wanted.
It's for you, Brittany. It's
The Norse
Brittany.
Pour
god
one out for
Brittany.
Brittany, guys.
My favorite god, Brittany.
Brittany, the spear shaker.
But now all of you back inside, the wonderful smells of like a very hearty sort of like savory porridge or stew is being made, and the energy is not the best, but it is, you are confronted in this moment by your feelings and what you're going through, but that is also not incredibly bogged down by the forest that was eating away at your spirit. So it's kind of like yes and no is kind of where you are, where it's like, oh God, I feel so much better, but also, man, I feel bad. So that is kind of the space you are in. We're going to go back a little bit in time, just a wee bit, back to the other side of the tree, when the door closed. Keld, Nyx, and Fen watch the town disappear. What do you guys do?
I think sigh, but then get comforted that Russ is here.
Not yet.
Oh, this is before Russ.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I'm glad so I'm doing, because there's a 10-minute gap before Russ
Yeah.
shows up.
Oh, right.
So this is just as they left.
Hmm.
This is
Hmm.
right after. If there's anything you
Then-
guys would like to do.
I think Nyx would immediately be like, I'm gonna see if the water crimson's nearby this time. It's been a couple days since we checked. And she'll sit down and ritual cast locate plants. For those 10 minutes.
I'll stand around supportively.
Ben's gonna keep an eye out for danger because he would normally be like, "Hey, let's find the plant in the wilderness." That's my
Mhm.
thing, but this is not his wilderness.
So you're doing a perception check?
Yeah, I got to. That's Ben would do that.
Oh,
Buddy, be careful.
Roll perception.
Just start thinking more critically.
Yeah, 23.
Okay. You are keeping an eye out. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Uh, 13.
As you stand in this space and listen to the creak of the tree branches, that itch returns to your skin. That feeling of something crawling beneath, goosebumps, bugs. And you become ill with the corruption you had just fought against. Any hit points regained through non-magical means will be halved. And you ritual cast, and you don't feel anything yet, but it holds up for 10 minutes, an hour, one of those two. It's always one of those two.
This one does not say either of that. It's an instant.
Oh, it just
thing.
pings. It just
Yeah.
pings out
Within 5 miles.
At 5.
Yeah, this one's 5 miles.
Oh, look at
Oh,
that.
that's why it's the instant and why it's not the long duration thing, is because you go 5 miles out.
Yeah, the long duration one's the locate creature one.
Oh.
That's much higher level.
Gotcha. At this moment, you don't feel anything, but you're welcome to try again later if you are so inclined.
Will do. Next
And
rest time.
yeah, as you stand up, Fen now absent-mindedly scratching at his skin. You receive a message as you perceive this from Roshan saying that Russ would like to come through and asking if he is ready, and he is. And the door opens again. And this time you can see your parents, who are like looking through and trying to see you, but seem to be struggling to, as Russ steps into the space. Morningstar bag, but not wearing his plate mail. He's not wearing his plate. And steps through and gives the offer. This is anyone's chance to rest. And the door closes. And Russ immediately, its arms around you, Nyx, is immediately just holding on to you and holds you close. And just, a nice moment perhaps in this terrible place comes with its own, problems. But
What a nice thing.
and Russ smiles at you, and then you watch his face like drop immediately. Whoa, this feels fucking awful. And he like grips at his chest for a second as he just did the opposite of what Roshan and Nana did and was just picked up and dunked into the lake. As he like kind of, the air's so thick. And he kind of just like a
You
goofy
kind of get
sideways
used
smile.
to it.
Yeah, you look good. Listen, I'm just coming for a walk. It's just a walk in the woods.
Yeah, don't look out there too often.
Just focus on the path.
Like, unless you're leading, don't do it.
Well, I don't plan to be, listen, I'm just tapping in for a moment until your friends get jars. So let me take on some burdens. You guys have to stay here longer, and then I get to go back and eat stew or whatever.
I'm kind of jealous of that.
I did bring, I was given a lot of like leftover things, so we are probably eating pretty good when we make camp. And you can kind of see just like the assortment of containers that you recognize from home, just full of so many things now.
Air package from Mom.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can handle a day or two in the woods. And if it fucks me up a little, I get to leave. You guys just need to keep your shit together.
Hmm.
They looked rough. Like, I didn't want to say anything because, that's rude. You don't just look at somebody and say you look like shit. But they looked
Who
rough.
would do that?
Besides, I'll meditate or something if it
Right.
gets, terrible. Listen, just put me on lookout duty. I'm not the best at navigation, but I'll keep watch the whole time.
Mm, you don't have to do that. Just
Not the
follow
whole
us.
time.
Do it. How about you let me do a day? I'll prove myself. And if you're like, actually, Russ, piss poor job, I'll stop.
Speaking of days, we're running out of it.
It's
As
barely
we
started, Ben.
uh,
We were...
seems to be a lot less of it here. We should move.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
I'll keep eyes out and open. And you see he like straightens up and like puts a hand on his morning star and like glances around, and you see him like, fuck. Like he murmurs fuck under his breath, like taking it in as somebody who is not eased into it. Who's like, oh geez, this sucks.
We tried to
but-
warn you, dude.
Russ will be doing the perception checks. Who is leading? You could ask Russ to lead, but he has volunteered to do the perception checks. So who is leading the group?
Guess I can.
Sure.
Do we want to be stealthy this time around? To maybe avoid that giant thing?
That's a good idea.
All right. I will cast Pass Without Trace on the group.
Wow.
Russ nodding like he's like, yeah, the giant thing. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's
know
a
the
thing we
inside.
definitely
I know the
fixed.
inside jokes. I know what we're talking about. All right, you have Pass Without Trace, which means you get to add plus 10 to your stealth for this first leg. So Keld, go ahead and do survival. Russ will do perception.
Well, Russ here,
Oh.
hold this rope so we all stay together.
Sure. Just hold on to the rope. It's like, this is what the team's doing. I'm just here for a walk in the woods. Ooh. Good for you, bestie. 26 on his perception check. So he's looking real hard at this darkness, which is, we all know, very good. And what do we have on survival, Keld?
11.
Okay. And I need everybody to roll stealth. Keld, you have disadvantage, but you do add another 10. This is why Russ did not bring his armor, so he can also be fast. 23 for Russ. He did not roll very well.
29.
Okay.
30.
14.
Killing it.
Good job.
This man has
Clink,
a large
clink, clink,
pot on
clink.
his back and is wearing heavy armor. I don't know what we want from him.
It's me.
You do have a bag of holding.
Then he'd have to, I suppose you could be the bag of holding person, but that does not change the armor, which is the thing that gives him disadvantage. The
You
rest is
know,
flavor.
Could put it in.
You guys can
I'll
put Keld's
hold on
AC at
to
10.
my loud flavor.
Loud flavor. You guys begin walking, and Russ, and you guys, God, it's amazing. You guys are just, you are stealthing, you are slower, but you are whizzing through this fucking forest. It is a different beast as all of you move at pace. And it's something nice that's happened. It's like, okay, we can make up ground and then, do our big switch around. Russ is here to just kind of jog and fill a void for a bit. He just has to keep it together. You all continue to stealth forward, going at pace. Keld, you still listening to the forest?
Not really.
Okay.
We're trying to focus on just moving forward.
Okay. Don't mind me. Anywho, you all begin making your way forward, moving quickly. You are all aware that Keld is making noise. It's inevitable, but it is better than when you all were just trying to move as fast as you could without stealthing. So you continue forward, and time begins to pass as Russ keeps his head on a swivel and Keld just focuses on, like, I know the direction. We're going as quickly as we can in that direction, as stealthily as we can. You all make your way forward, and kind of right on the end, you can feel like the Pass Without Trace starting to warble out and fade. And Russ stops and he holds up a hand. Hold. Something's wrong. You see, he's just like listening for a moment. I'm not sure what, oh shit. And you watch as the tree that is next to Russ kind of almost like moves itself by its roots and shoves itself into his spot as he stumbles back and out of the way as this tree attempted to just bulldoze into him. And you watch the branches and the roots of the other trees begin to move and shift and begin to slam into each other, side to side to side. They are attempting to trap you in. They are attempting to crush you. How do you get through this rapidly forming pine box? We are at a skill challenge. And so here are the rules now that Russ is here. Things change a little. Russ, if not asked to roll, gives one person advantage on their roll. If somebody rolls a nat 20, you gain another advantage from Russ. So nat 20s gain you an extra advantage. You have to call for this advantage before rolling. It cannot be something you do after. So if you're like, I would like to use the Russ advantage, you got to say it before rolling. You are able to ask Russ to roll. Every time he does, he will make a wisdom saving throw. You still need to get 5 successes before 3 failures, as these trees slam into place and they are attempting to crush and trap. Who's going first? What are we doing?
I kind of want to use charisma because I have speech of beast and leaf.
Ooh.
So maybe I can influence them to slow down. Let us through.
Okay. Yeah, you can see if you have any sway over the forest. You currently do not have your connection to the forest, so the DC will be staying at 20,
Mm,
but you may roll persuasion.
mm, mm. Nat 20.
Ooh. You now have 2 advantages from Russ as
Wow.
you get a success. So 2 advantages you guys can throw around. Keld, as a tree slams into place in front of you, you place a hand to it, move. And it sort of almost kind of returns to its natural state and kind of leans back into its original spot as you push through and climb over its roots and continue forwards. That is 1 success. Who's next?
Could I do perception to see a good way through them, like where there's the fewest, to lead us that way first?
Yeah, you can do that. That'll be a DC 20 perception check
All right.
as you look for openings and ways to not get murdered by tree.
I will not use an inspiration. I got a +10. Oh, yeah, fine. 22.
Okay. You keep an eye forward and are kind of looking to see, because the trees have to shift. They are making their own openings. They are making the
Mhm.
new way through, and you are making your way through those. And you guys are full sprinting. This is you guys running full speed through this forest now, as it tries to crush you. Fen, what are you doing?
I would like to use like to use acrobatics and the new grappling hook that I bought before I left town to see if I can throw a hook onto one of these branches and swing my way out.
Sure. Go
Like-
ahead and give me acrobatics, DC 20.
A 24.
There you go. The A team, boy. Running full speed through the forest, using this grappling hook to catch on and pull yourself over a pair of trees that have already slammed together, and swinging along. You kind of like run along a couple trees and like push yourself off and continue moving. Right now it's a free for all. Who's next? You need 2 more successes before 3 failures, and you have 2 advantages. These do not accumulate. If you have another skill challenge, these disappear. They're not.
Yeah.
We
I'd-
don't build them up and keep them.
I'd like to use nature to try and, if there's any trees that look like they might be like just getting in the way of somebody, use nature to identify weak spots in like the crotch of 2 boughs, and try out my new bow, whatever it does. But I want to look for that weak spot with nature. And
Okay. Go ahead, roll nature for me, DC 20, and then maybe we can talk about this bow a little bit in the middle of this nightmare. Find the bow.
say 24.
Okay. We only need 1 more success. You pull out the bow and you kind of like go to get an arrow, and as your fingers touch the string, a magical arrow forms in the spot and takes over. It does not need arrows. It forms its own. And as you aim and fire this bow, you see it like strikes into just like this, like honestly, like wet and rotten part of this one tree, and it just like hits away at it so people can just sort of like squeeze through and past. As you go and kind of go again to draw, you watch as that magical arrow disappears. So it seems when you draw again, the arrow that you just shot disappears and you get a new one. So as you do that, you also can see that when that first arrow hits, it looks like it has potential to do something that in this moment you cannot ascertain because you are running at full speed. But you're like, okay, it can do something else. But it makes its own magical arrows. And when I go to shoot again, the arrow I have shot disappears. So that's what you learn as you make your way forward and begin to run. Also, this is a short bow, just so you know. And you guys keep running. You need one more success before 3 failures. I would like either Keld or Nyx, please. And if you want to use your advantage or show off and not use it, it's up to you.
It's
You guys want to show
right?
off or whatever? You guys don't need it. Russ is just here to look pretty.
Trying to think of a thing for survival.
Yeah, convince me.
I know.
I can be convinced of a lot of things.
Is that's like finding a way through based on the terrain, not the trees. But if I used blight to attack a tree, because they struggle with that spell.
What level of blight are you using?
Goodness. Probably 4th level.
Okay. I will. Blight is a nasty spell specifically for trees.
It is.
So I will lower the DC slightly. Only slightly. But you need to get a 17 on a survival check.
I'll use one of these inspiration. Why not?
Perfect. Russ is like, look at
We
me
have-
helping.
He helped.
He just kind of like motions to you while you fire off a terrible, nasty spell. He's like, yay.
Okay, it's a good thing he helped.
Hey. What do we got?
22.
All right. This tree forms in front of you, and you can see the closing in of all of these branches as you cast blight at this tree directly in front of you. It's a thinner tree, a scrawnier tree, but thick enough for all of you to be able to get through. And as it wilts and sort of forms, like begins to just rot even further, Rust just like bulldozes forward and just like slams into it to like open the pathway once you have weakened this thing. And, gives you the assist as all of you run through and almost dejectedly, the trees kind of stop. And some of them look like they go back to their original positioning. Some of them stay. But they are no longer actively trying to kill you. I'm sure you guys jog for slightly longer, just to be sure of it. And Russ looks back. Ooh, this place fucking sucks.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I also forgot to. Okay, I forgot to roll Russ's initiative, but I did it. Let's mark it off. Kind of like catching his breath. Everyone good?
Think so.
Yeah.
You okay, Finn?
Yeah, I'm fine. I've been worse, but I've been worse in the past. Moon's turn, honestly, but everyone else all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thumbs up. And all of you keep pushing forward. We are on to the second leg of the journey. Russ will be doing the perception checks. Who is leading?
I can lead, and I'll re-up Pass Without Trace for everybody.
Okay. You cast Pass Without Trace. Go ahead and roll survival. And Russ will do perception.
Dirty 20.
All right. Russ got. Is this the time for it? He got a nat 20. Good
Wow,
for
look at him
Russ. Is
go.
like, he's staring into the fucking darkness. So fucking intensely.
It's
Go ahead and
because
give
he
me.
He's
knows
so
there
dark
won't be
inside,
long
too.
term. Well, there is
Yeah,
that.
he's like, I get to leave.
Yeah.
And also, hey,
Darkness. Da-na-na-na-na-na. No parents. Da-na-na-na-na-na.
these are true. Go ahead and give me wisdom save, Nyx.
Mhm.
And Russ will give his next one. Okay.
29.
Okay. Neat. And what did you get for your survival?
Dirty 20.
Oh, yeah. I recall. It was 20s all day.
The next die is kind now that I found it, after it was on the floor for a bit.
Okay. And with that, I think we are going to go back to the team in town. But as to not cut them off from whatever they may want to do, I think I'm going to go to a slightly early break. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to take just a little break so you can go get a snack and a drink, and we'll check in on Nana and Roshan. We'll see you guys in 10 minutes.
Thank you, 10.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 172 on the Backs of Gods. We just took our 10-minute break and the team is split. Russ joined the team in the woods just for a little jaunt about town. You know, he's not staying for the long term, but he is here to carry some burdens and then go home. And we'll trade out with the other team once that happens. You all had a skill challenge where you avoided being murdered by the forest just trying to bludgeon you to death, and got out of it without a single failure, not a single scratch on you. And you make your way forward, the only scratching being Fadden as he begins to claw at his forearms. And you make your way forward. We turn our focus back to town. During this time, you are provided a place to sleep. You are given Keldon Nix's rooms so that you don't have to like sleep in the living room and make your fort, because they just put it away and they're not going to bring it back out again. So
Nor
you
would we
have beds you can sleep in, lunch is provided, snacks are left out. The fire is lit and keeping the space warm and comfortable. They are not there all the time. They seem to kind of go in and out about business. People come to the door and ask to talk to the ladle a lot, and the ladle will go out. And occasionally the grandpot will is like, I'm gonna go handle something, and we'll like leave. And the ladle is summoned more, you realize. There's at least 2 summons that happen for the ladle during this time. But you guys are in town, and the day is yours. What do you do?
I don't think Roshan does anything.
Okay.
Not a damn thing.
I think by the time True Night has fallen, it will be obvious to the pot and or the ladle that he wants to ask them something. But if anything happens before that, we can do that first.
Sure.
Well, funny you mention that. The first order of operations Nana does want to see to during this time after lunch is to go to Nyx's room, which I'm guessing probably she was given Nyx's and Roshan was probably given Keld's. Is my
they just
assumption.
said you could have the
could
room, so
have
you are
which
welcome
ones,
to put yourself in whatever
whichever.
room you want.
I have no idea. If nothing else, I know I need to be in Nyx's room to get jars. And that is where I am going to get jars emptied out and put aside into a sack so that that will be ready to go when we get the summons. First order of business. And once she has that in hand and that is done, I do think that she does kind of try at one point to approach Roshan probably brings him some tea. I would assume there's probably like chamomile or something like it. I think Nana would have like maybe caught the ladle and asked if she could use the kettle for some tea on one of her stops into the house before making use of the kitchen. But yeah. And bring Roshan some tea and just so obviously the grandpot was not exaggerating when he said that that place has the capacity to have dearest of friends at one another's throats. So I What can I do to help you, Ro, so that we can get back in there and not be burdens to our friends?
I wish I knew. I feel pretty helpless. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think that the best advice that I've heard recently, and that I should have listened to better, was if you're not sure exactly where you ought to jump, then the next step is to breathe. Can you meditate with me? I don't know. I've been trying to take after you and Fen, and I don't know, maybe I'm just not doing it right, but
Yeah, we can try.
I'd appreciate it.
I guess Roshan will sit on the floor by Nyx's bed and go through some. I'm sure he's read of Elven meditation and just meditation mantras, and we'll try to remember as best he can.
And think Nana will sit across from him on the floor and attempt to center herself and try and figure out like what parts of the emotions that are going through her right now are hers, and what parts came out of the forest, and what parts maybe the forest just kind of threw some fuel on.
Okay. While you meditate, Roshan, during this time, the shadows have been like, not like active as in like trying to talk to you and engage with you, but they've been like, wherever they go, they are staying out here now and are like taking everything in, even if it is just quietly sitting in a space. They seem content to do that. And that same third one just sort of inches closer and closer to Nana and is just sitting there looking at her. And it seems like trying to like understand something, and is just staring at her. As the other two kind of are like, you know, we like this meditating energy. We like this. This makes sense. And this one is not. This one is not doing that.
I think Roshan did try, at least at first, to meditate, but then becomes distracted and interested in watching this third shadow, presumably the feminine shadow, keep an eye on Nana. But
And
he's not going to interrupt.
And while Nana meditates, you watch as the shadow reaches out and sort of like very hesitant brushes, like tries to like brush the hair behind Nana's ear, but does not seem like they are able to interact with the world in their current state, but just kind of brushes it back. And then
Is Nana able to perceive anything of that?
I would say it seems like you're looking very inwards in this moment during your meditation. I would say that probably not.
Okay.
If you were doing like, you know, like I am connecting to the earth and
or
that
like
kind of thing,
the exterior,
like
nah.
more outer, but
This one's more navel gazy, so nah.
yeah. So this one eventually kind of comes back and once again comes back to the grouping of shadows, which seems to be together but still separate, and is like looking through individual eyes at the situation, at where they are, and just taking it in quietly and calmly. And you all are welcome to meditate as long as you like. And whatever you gain from that is what you gain from that. Is there anything else that you guys would like to do before nightfall?
So I think Roshan is like probably after the meditation sesh is pacing a bit and waits till the ladle walks in and says, can I ask you something?
She looks to you and she like begins like taking off her scarf and her coat and sets it up on this overburdened coat rack and looks over. Of course. Do you want to sit down?
Sure. And I think Roshan goes and sits down and immediately regrets it, but will stay sitting. And says, this probably won't make a lot of sense, so I'll start from the beginning. When someone close to me died, I stopped sleeping well, and I started taking some onset, and that was great, except that, and I also needed it to wake up and stay awake and then to fall asleep again. And eventually someone helped me stop. And at the same time, I kind of just stopped sleeping, period. And I was able to do it last night. I asked everyone for help, but I don't know if I can do it tonight. And I don't know if I need to, but I'm so exhausted. And I don't want to ask for medicinal help because I'm afraid I'll need it. But I don't know what other kind of help to ask for. And thought maybe you would know.
I appreciate you sharing with me. That you feel comfortable enough. I'm humbled by that. And we've just met. I spend most of my time here as the ladle, as a provider, as a support and a leader in the emotional and the spiritual. And at first it was easy. I was a ladle and I was dipping in and taking from myself, and I was giving it to the people that needed it. And then I kept doing that, dipping into myself and giving it to everyone. And then it took me a long time to realize that I was not a pot or a cup or a cauldron. I was a ladle. I could provide, and I could take from somewhere and give. And it was hard to realize that I could not keep giving from myself. So I had to set boundaries, and I had to provide my love and my care and my advice and my direction. And then I had to let it go because it was not mine. It was theirs. I am pulling up from others and giving it to them. I am providing what they already had and showing it to them. You have showed me with your actions and your stories that you are very strong, that you are very brave, that you are committed to what you think is right. In this moment at your lowest, as you have given yourself, it would be so easy to let go and use something to help you sleep. There are many things in the woods that one could pluck, and then you would have to continue to pluck, and you are right. And the fact that you can see that, I think you have a gift in that, and you should thank yourself for that gift. The gift of foresight and understanding of oneself is a tough one to have. And you have told me in this moment that you do not always require sleep. And maybe that's true, though sleep has many purposes, depending. It is a time for the mind and the body to reset. And I'm sure you could survive without it. It seems you have for quite some time now, but when do you reset? When do you take the time to decompress from the day? When do you take a moment to stop processing the world around you for just a moment? Because sometimes the world is amazing, and you want to hold on to those things and continue to see them and learn and grow and hold them. And sometimes you want to let them go, but perhaps it's scary to close your eyes in those situations. You've told me that though it is not something you need to survive, asking your friends for help and sleeping are something perhaps not for survival, but for success. I will brew tea, and I will make the space comfortable, and I will talk with you as long as you like, and I will tell you stories of the two hellions that lived in my home for many years until they deemed the world worthy to wander out on their own. And we will talk, and we will snack, and you will have a full stomach, and you will know warm drink, and you will know a warm and comfortable bed, and you will sleep in it because you strive for success. And you are self-aware, and you know what will give that to you. If you need sleep, you will find it. We'll find it. As, to be fair, sleep has been a bit hard to come by. But things are easier together, I think. Don't you agree?
So Roshan, I think his eyes were red, like he was on the verge of tears before she got the chance to talk. But then feeling seen by her just kind of lets the tears fall and says, perhaps a little too formally, thank you for your hospitality.
Of course. And you can have it as long as you like. And I want you to know this. And the same is for Nana. The same is for you. You are here to get well. You are getting well in your minds to contribute and to provide. I am telling you now, and I do not think you will heed me. You don't have to go back. You truly do not. If what is best is for you to stay and to sleep and to eat and to focus on yourself and to not be that ladle, I want you to understand that that is an option.
I didn't feel much like a ladle out there. Felt more like cold water on the embers. And it took me a while to see it, but I do need to go back. And for that, I need to be better.
Well, I think we can do that. I know lunch was big, but what if? And she kind of goes into talking about like this large dinner that she is like, we should make big dinner also. And ends up brewing up like cups of cider, and it is just like a big thing in this tiny home, as you all come into the space and are given more food and more drink, and you are made comfortable in bed, and the ladle comes and like comes over and like tucks you in and like puts a drink next to your nightstand and like stays and talks with you and tells you stories about the town and the people in it, and just it's what mundane little stories compared to the places you've been and the people you have seen, but it's nice. Just little stories about how Nyx and Keld used to share a room. And then around the time of puberty hitting, she was like, I'm not sharing a room with a stinky man. And it was, and explains the attachment to the house that they had to build so that they could have Nyx have her own room, and how they had their pot mitzvahs and the different mushrooms they acquired, and just the stories of them picking their name and the time it took them. Just simple little stories.
And I'm imagining like Roshan under a mountain of blankets, sitting on a pillow by the fire, and the ladle in a rocking chair. And I think Roshan would just like be happy to listen until she falls asleep in the rocking chair
Yeah.
and then retire himself.
Yeah. Her poor back. But the fact that she's getting sleep is probably worth it, as Roshan, eventually you meander to bed and you're tired. You are warm and you are full and you're exhausted. In this setting, at least from my perspective, I would not stop you from being able to sleep.
I think it is Roshan's sincere goal to rest, and I think sleep would find him. He's still got 3 levels of exhaustion. So I think it's just a nice relaxing evening, and he does fall asleep. But he does fall asleep thinking about his friends and how they might not be having as nice a relaxing evening.
Meanwhile, everybody's
A
jogging through the
bubbleless
woods.
evening.
No bubble. Have fun with that, guys.
Dad made it through fine without a bubble. Your dad did just fine.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
You guys have done 2 legs. Go ahead and roll me the stealth for this trek. You get to add +10.
$36.
26.
22.
You did it.
1.
What?
But, hey, can he have one of those adventures?
+10 plus dex plus.
I mean, in the end, it gets
Jesus.
to.
It's a skill check, though. It's not an attack roll.
Would you guys
so-
like me to stop letting
no.
you guys crit on skill checks and things like that?
No, I'm sorry. You're the DM. Do what you want.
I thank you. I shall. He gets a nat 1. You begin stealthing. You are obscured by magic. Nobody can track you, even if you roll a nat 1. Your tracks are hidden, but also that does not mean you are on your A game. As you trek your way through, Russ seems more focused on head being on a swivel. That seems like his main focus. So stealth kind of slips a bit below as he makes his way. That was my nat 20, was his perception check, I think. Good for you, bestie. It's the duality of man.
Don't
You
look
begin
too
to
hard at
make
it.
your-
It makes you sick.
You can see that the light beaming in from the trees gets dimmer as the day passes, and you are now on. It seems that nothing has happened. Occasionally you see Russ stop and like look around, but like the forest is in constant motion. And you all are all aware as well that like the trees have not stopped moving. They are no longer actively trying to bulldoze into you, but they seem active. There is movement. And it seems to be throwing Russ off a bit. Like he has to stop and like kind of look past and be like, okay, it's nothing coming towards us. It's just every tree in this forest is moving. And he keeps kind of stopping and having to like straighten up and is throwing off his rhythm on stealth. As you make your way forward, we go on to the last leg of the day. Russ will do perception, who is leading.
Suppose it's my turn.
Are you feeling well enough?
Oh, I don't feel well at all, but it's my turn.
If you're sure, but I can take another turn.
Yeah.
You're looking very.
We're in your backyard. You get to call the shots here, but I'm here to do my part. Nix, you look uneasy.
Yes, you You don't look well.
You can't leave here. You have to stay. Or none of us get back or forth. So if someone has to put themselves out there, it shouldn't be you. And if Keld falls, we stay dead.
All right, fine.
It should be me.
All right.
All right.
If you get worse, I'm sending you back tomorrow.
We'll have that fight when that time comes.
Russ does not seem knowledgeable enough to like interject. He has not seen the like aggressive effects of the woods yet, and also he does not see it as his place currently, but you can see that it's like his jaw is set a little bit as he kind of begins to step forward and starts going back to head on a swivel. Fen, go ahead and give me a survival check.
We want more pass without a trace, everybody. I got spell slots.
22.
Hi. It's 22. Perception. 16 this time. And then wisdom saving throws for Fen and Russ.
Keld, stand next to one of them. Make them feel better.
Too late.
First.
19.
Fen. Your arms burn from where your nails have begun to dug into the skin. It is the constant feeling of squirming and movement under your flesh. And you can see where you've put hands on trees and pushed your way forward and leaned for support and hid when you needed to. These dirty gloves, your hands interacting with the nature around you and then being dug into your flesh. It is as if some of the lichen of the trees is starting to attach to these injuries. And you are able to like peel it off. It hurts. And you can take it off and kind of scratch it away like it's dirt. And then it's there again. Any hit points that you regain through divine spells are halved. So that would be like anything from Keld, basically, is like his lay on hands and what have you. You are at level 3. There is no level 4. You continue forward. Russ's head on a swivel and it keeps landing on Fen, and he keeps deciding that he is going to stay in his place. He's just here for a walk through the woods, but his eyes just keep landing at Fen, and then he has to turn and focus back out, almost preferring to look out into the darkness of the woods. And you can see as Russ's jaw sets and his stays set, his eyes focused wide on the world around him, as you will push forward and continue as it gets dimmer and the forest goes through bouts of loudness and then quiet, and the trees move, and it's anytime Russ stops to look at them, they all stop as if they had never moved once. And you can see that Russ looks like he's beginning to be wound tight. Nothing to the degree of where Fen seems currently mentally, but Russ is starting to feel the forest. You make your way forward, and Russ stops again. All right. There's something out there this time, I'm pretty sure. And you see, like, he scans the tree line. And then you watch his eyes sort of unfocus, and he bulldozes forward and immediately, like, Morningstar out, like, jumps and begins combat with something. No hesitation. Everybody roll initiative as Russ bulldozes forward and starts combat.
Push it.
Cool, cool, cool.
Hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Mm,
Guys, I can't see my eyes. I
oh
can't.
no, they're not working.
My eyes are broken.
Look
Mm,
with your special eyes.
Ooh.
I can't.
Okay, 20 to 25. Hell yeah. um 15 to 20.
8.
12?
Oh, 17.
Get your shit together, mechanical pencil. I have a combat to fuck around with. And then what do you have, Killed?
12.
Neat. Oh. Okay. You watched Russ just bulldoze into combat immediately. He saw something and he goes for it. You see that on a few of these trees, there seems to be like kind of like broken, twisted extensions of the branches. And they turn and look, and you can see the glow of eyes inside of these branches as they peel away from the tree and land on the ground. This just bunch of wood that was near imperceivable. And Russ is like already on like one of them and is now just like in the thick of it with them. So he's just surrounded by a handful of these guys. You see about 6 begin to start moving and like jumping down to be like, us too, bitch. You see one of them like breaks off another branch from the branch it was hiding on and is just like holding it above its head like a club and just like jumps down to join into the combat. And as all of you turn and like start like pulling out your weapons, there's a smell in the air that becomes prominent. And Fan, you feel your stomach immediately flip as you watch pulling itself up from the muck, just covered in this like rotten, sweet swamp water. It pulls itself forward, a thing twisting of plants, these like large, kind of blood red flowers, and bones. Bones twisted into the vines of its body as it pulls itself up. And it's just its entire, like, it's like flowers atop it, a mess of vines and bones, and these like long vines that it's using similar to legs as it wraps around the tree. And the smell of decay is palpable and nauseating in this moment. And it is going first. Sorry, I gotta put silly Russ into the combat. Get in there. This thing moves forward through the trees. And it is going to... It is going to immediately move upon where Fen, Nyx, and Kaldar, and moves into their space, as Russ is currently surrounded by a bunch of beings of wood. I need everybody to make a Constitution saving throw. And because you are all next to Keld, you get a +2.
$22.
Okay.
Also 22.
Ah.
Mine's only an 18.
Mm,
Not as cool.
The smell that emanates from this thing is so disgusting. Fen vomits. It's inevitable. That just happens. No roll needed for that. But you can feel that it's almost like your body wants to seize up, and you just need to kind of just cover your face and curl into a little ball as the smell starts to permeate the space. But you decide, hey, I'm gonna get used to it. This is not the time to let this be my issue. The three of you are now immune to the smell of this thing, so you can keep that in mind. Good for you guys, as it makes its way over, and Fen vomits, so I'm gonna attack him because he's doing something. It's going to come over and it raises these tentacle-like vines and just brings them down hard in Fen's direction. A 16 to hit?
That will miss.
Okay.
Fen ducks to curl over and throw up, and the vines go right over his head.
You vomit. One vine goes overhead. You stumble backwards as the second vine slams into the ground in front of you. And you sort of grip the tree and lean forward again as the bark is sheared off the side of the tree by the third swipe. As all three attacks miss you. As just this large, terrible plant is now just upon you. And through some slapstick, makes no contact with Fen. But we are now hot in it. Fen, you are up. Nyx, you are on deck.
Fen takes his reaction to stumble 15 feet away from this thing. He uses his bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark on it.
Okay.
And he's going to take 3 shots at this thing with his new bow. And I need to find another D6 somewhere because I have a short bow now. That's
And it is
inconvenient.
it is a +1.
Okay.
short bow.
I have another D6. Cool. All right. That is no sharpshooter on any of these, by the way.
Okay.
A 30.
30 hits.
I would hope so. A 26 and a 15 to hit.
All 3 of those hit.
Cool.
As 3 arrows, shunk, make their way and just stab into this thing. And it is this blackish red ichor that drips from these leafy wounds.
Weapon damage. And it's a +1, you said?
Yeah, it's a +1.
Anything extra on that I can perceive?
You would have to fuck around and find out, but you did not
I'm
do that
I'm
this round.
I'm fucking as hard as I can right now.
Well, you gotta try harder. Let's hear that nasty number.
Yeah, I'm sneak attack.
Nix, you are
2,
next.
3,
Russ is
7,
after Nix, and then Keld, you
8.
are after that.
That ambusher. Only 40 points of damage.
Okay. Not bad. As one arrow sinks in, and as you draw the bow back, it turns to mist and a new one forms. And this thing just gets littered with these magical arrows. Anything else, Fen?
Fen will use his movement to back another 35 feet into the direction that he thinks is safest.
Okay, so you're about 50 feet away. Cool. Fen backs up into the forest a bit. Okay, Nix, you are up.
It looks like a plant creature.
Why, yes, it does, Nix.
Ah, well, I guess we'll cast a 5th level blight.
Ah, weird.
Yeah. It has disadvantage on its Constitution saving throw if it's a plant
Ah.
creature.
Oh no, sad for him. He doesn't get that dice.
Poor
Con
Twiggy
save.
boy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you negated his nat 20, and then he
Good.
does not save.
Okay, so that's max damage then. So 8 times 9, that's 72, right? Math?
Sure, I'm gonna hold you to 72. You watch this thing suck in like a Capri Sun as it tries to hold itself up on these tendril legs and kind of crashes into the tree next to it. This thing's fucked up. This terrible nightmare beast comes out of the woods and it looks bad. It looks rough.
Well, that's all I got.
Perfect. It is now Russ's turn. He has 6 new friends, and he is going to go to the first one and make an attack, which makes contact. So let's just write up some damage. Hits the first time, is going to stunning strike on the first one. And it needs to make a Constitution saving throw, which fails. So one is stunned. He then turns and he's going to hit into the one next to it. And that hits, and he is going to do some dabblage on that one. That one is also going to get stunning striked and fails. We're just doing the same damage though, which I'd like to change. D&D Beyond. And then he turns for his third attack over to a third one of the 6 of these things and is going to do the same thing again, trying to make sure he is not littered with hits in a hot second. That hits. That saves against stunning strike though, but one of them is going to take 5 damage. Okay. So 2 of them are stunned. 3 of them are not. And he's going to... Let me see how many of these bastards I have. Stunning strike, stunning strike, stunning strike. He's not going to patient defense. I need some of his key. So he stuns 2 of them, hits the third one. It continues to attack, and he just like, all right, I started this. That is the end of his turn. It is now Keld's turn. and you are at the base of this monster that's like came up like huge, scary, terrible, and then immediately shrivels up and is trying its damnedest to stay up on its feet, its vines, its roots.
I think Keld will try to fell it with his sword.
Perfect.
Let's see. Nat 1 for that first swing.
You swing at this thing, but it just, your sword digs into the bunch of bone at center mass, and like it does nothing. That seems to not be part of its body. It just holds it in there. It does not seem damaged by you hitting into these bones.
Weird.
So your second attack.
Then the thing. See if we can fucking get into its bones. 23.
That most certainly hits.
Cool, cool.
You putting any spice on that?
Should probably put a little spice on it.
Just like a little spice. If I have another
What I have
combat
now.
when everybody's separated, I should give you two assholes just a nasty little guy to be, and then you guys can be like, I'm just a nasty. I attack. I
And
roll
I
a d4.
I attack your ankles.
I chew at your ankles as I am just a little guy made of wood holding a
Nice.
little club.
That'd be beautiful.
Yeah, so if you guys don't come back and there's another combat, maybe I'll just send you guys a sheet and you guys can be just a nasty little dude for a combat. How much? Dabblage.
12 plus 7. 19.
Okay, and you threw all your smite on that? Did you get your
So-
improved? And then if you're adding a spell slot, divine smite, you get more. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save you the trouble. Actually, the number we're at is higher than the amount of hit points it has.
Cool.
So you know what? I don't know why I'm trying to get an exact number. We are over its hit points as you hit into these bones and then pull back, aim for the meat of this thing into the leafy flesh, and this thing is just shriveled and down, and it's just a lump of foliage and bone. Poor guy, he has so many cool abilities that the world will never see because he got fucking rocked in the first round of combat.
Got blighted.
Blight, she out there causing problems, almost did the whole amount of hit points. Keld, this thing is felled. What would you like to do? Anything else?
I used my actions already, or my attacks. How far away is Russ and everything surrounding Russ?
You could get there.
I will go over there then.
Okay. Keld jogs over, just kind of like steps over this thing and keeps going. Meanwhile, get out of here, terrible monster. It's only the little guys with clubs. They come rock up. 2 of them are out of commission. So 3 of them are still in play. And they are going to all attack Russ because he's right there. Why wouldn't we? Blah, blah, blah.
Because it's Russ and everyone likes him. He's impossible not to like.
Well, these guys feel a certain type of way. 2 attacks with the club. Okay.
He's taken.
All right, that's 1 hit, and then
And
the
they're mad
second
about it.
one. That's 2 hits from the second, and then the third. 1 hit from the third, so that's 4 hits. 16. Russ, do you mind letting me use your D&D Beyond for a bunch of D4? $16 D4, go! Ooch! 51 points of damage as 2 of these things freeze up, and the rest of them just go fucking hog and are just beating him with clubs. Just Russ getting pummeled by a gang of little wooden people. Ouch, that's rough. And you watch as one of them tries to slip away. Actually, all 3 of them are going to attempt to slip away from Russ and Keld. So Keld, if you'd like to use your reaction, you can try to hit one of them. Nat 20 from you, boy.
Does a 14 hit?
No, 14 will not hit.
Well,
So this guy is going to take 6 damage, and that one stops in its tracks as Russ kind of hits forward and like grabs onto the club and prevents it from leaving. The other 2 run and like seem to just like slip into the tree and disappear from view. So 2 of them are now MIA. And 2 of them are stunned, and one of them is just stuck in place like, oh shit. And then there's a dead, humongous, terrible flower. We are back at the top. The flower is out of commission. Fen, you are up. Nix, you're on deck.
Cool. One of those stunned ones. Actually,
you have
not the
advantage.
stunned one. The
Okay.
one that's restrained or whatever that Russ stopped.
Oh, it's not restrained. It just
well,
it
it's
was
still within
it was
5 feet of him.
sentineled. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. They're
that one.
all of them are within this bunch. So
Yeah.
you can attack that one.
That one. New bow, actually same attack modifier. Yeah, 21 to hit. I assume that hits.
Yeah, 20 hits.
All right. I'll damage that one just in case. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's 30 points of damage. That's
Okay.
Is it dead?
No.
Cool. I'm shooting again.
Okay.
13 to hit.
13 does not hit.
Or 14
As-
to hit. Sorry, it's a 2.
That
on
also
the die.
does not hit.
Okay. Cool. Bonus action. Yeah. Bonus action moves Hunter's Mark to that one. The
Okay.
one that I just missed. Or
Use Hunter's Mark.
yeah.
All right. Fen, as you fall back and you take aim, and you could just, your fingers are tense, and it just feels like there's something like burrowing into your bones. It doesn't hurt, but it is just the sensation of something under the skin and looking at like the expanse of your arm. You swear you can see movement beneath it, and it is hard to ignore at this time as it kind of eats away at you. You literally feel as if you are being eaten away at. Nix, it's your turn.
Yeah, so you said two went off in the same direction?
Two of them disappeared into the trees. Two of them are stunned. One of them is just vibing.
Hmm. Did they disappear in the same-ish area? Like into the trees?
Yeah, they moved into the closest tree, but they like you watched, and it wasn't like they were like, I'm blending in. It looked magical. Like
Okay,
they,
like a
yeah, it
tree
had
stride
this,
kind of thing.
it looked kind of like that. Yeah, it looked similar to what you do.
Okay, then I'll focus on the ones that I know where they are.
Cool.
And are these things plant creatures?
They are indeed.
Well, then we'll just use our trusty blight some more.
Cool.
Whichever one looks the least hurt.
Sure.
Yeah.
That'd be probably one of the stunned ones. And it's going to roll disadvantage on its con save.
Yep.
Come here. I don't think that's going to do it. See, it's rolling. The disadvantage is really biting these guys in the ass.
Yeah. I'm only doing a 4th level for this. Well, if it failed, that's 64 damage.
4?
64.
64. And you
Yeah.
watch as this thing is like stunned and it's like staring at Russ like, I'm going to kick your ass. And then
Mhm.
crack, break, and it just turns brittle and collapses onto the ground, no longer moving. It just looks like a pile of bark. It is now nothing as it collapses.
Sweet. I'll walk towards that area with them,
Okay, you begin making your way forward.
glancing around to see if I see what tree the others are at, hiding. You know,
Looking.
very casual.
Just super chill. And it is now Russ's turn, who is going to focus on the other one that is not as hurt. And is going to use all of his attacks on that guy. Two of them are going to hit. He's not going to use any more of his key. We can't be so silly. Actually, we're going to use more key. If you say so, Dice. So he's going to do some dabblage on that guy and then do another stunning strike on this guy. This guy succeeds. And he'll do it again. He succeeds again, this guy. He can't be stunned. He's the most powerful tree man in his village.
Question.
Yes.
I don't think I've used this before, but is this an instant I can reaction sentinel attack?
That's if something is leaving your area or entering it maybe, but it's an opportunity attack based thing.
Okay. It says when a creature within 5 feet of you makes an attack against a target other than you.
Oh, then you can use your reaction. You've already used your reaction.
Okay.
So you could, because it attacked Russ, but you've used your reaction. So, but yes, it can be used that way. Cool. That's Russ's turn. He didn't stun anything, and he's used all of his key. Bonus action. Everything's key. Everything. So he's good. No interest in anything else. Keld, you are up. There are two visible in front of you. None of them are stunned any longer.
All right. They're not stunned. but I'm gonna try to smack both of them. So first attack at 1. It's gonna be an 18 plus 9 to hit.
That hits.
Cool. So we'll use a spell slot to add 2. All right, so 18 damage on that hit.
Okay. You want to attack the same one?
How's he looking?
I mean, bloodied-ish? A little under bloodied?
14 to hit.
14 does not hit. As you hit into this thing and you hear the snap of wood, and then you watch as it rips off that splintered piece of wood and holds it up like a shield, and you hit into the shield and it blocks itself from the attack. There's almost respect to be given to
So
this piece of
resourceful.
wood that is biting you. Anything else killed?
No.
Little guys. Keld has become a problem to them, and they are going to turn their focus to him. That hits. What's your AC? You're muted.
19.
Thank you. That hits. That misses. That hits. 3 hits. So that's going to be 12d4. Roll. You're going to take 37 points of bludgeoning damage as they just turn to look at you and they just start wailing on you. They know what they do. They just hit. They, they are
I
really
get
good
it.
at it.
I also hit.
You're like, I understand. As you watch that one who like tore off part of its body, you watch as that fissure it made begins to slowly close back up. As you can see, like it's pulling in resources from the earth as like little vines are starting to kind of root in place as it pulls energy from the dirt. You can see both of the ones in front of you doing that. So they're gonna heal like bastards. And then, Fen, as you go into this place and your eyes sort of, you have to keep trying to pull your eyes away from looking at your skin. You hear like a whoop whoop kind of sound coming from the tree next to you. And 2
Oh, I
of these
hate
guys
that.
just burst out, and 2 little wooden men just storm towards you and just start bludgeoning you. So they're gonna make their attacks. That'll hit. That misses. That hits. That crits. So 2 hits and a crit.
I would like to use my uncanny dodge to negate that crit, or take half damage on the crit.
I was about to say it doesn't negate it, but it will take.
Yeah.
So
Half damage on the crit. Yeah.
So I'll do these separate then. So 2 hits. 8 more. So you take 30 points of bludgeoning damage as these guys just come over and just fully clock you and just like, holy shit, as one of them is like, sees an opening and is just going to bonk you just like clear on the temple. And you kind of just like lean into this one because you're like, I can't block it. So I just lean into it as this crit comes and smacks you. So
Welcome back to
that's-
Movie Recaps.
So you take 10 points of damage after uncanny dodging that attack.
So 40 points overall, or
Yeah, I believe so.
all right.
And they just stay in your space and are now hounding you, just these two little guys. And that is their turn. Fen, it is now your turn.
I would love to cast Zephyr Strike on one of them. I'm gonna take a shot at it with disadvantage from point
Okay.
blank. Does a, and I gotta check. Does a 17 hit?
17 does not hit, it just misses.
All right. Well, I will disengage for free because of Zephyr Strike, and I will backpedal back towards the party, the whole group, taking another shot, this time straight at the one that did the most damage. Fuck that guy.
Okay.
Does a dirty 20 hit?
20 hits.
Cool. That is a 14 points of damage to that guy. And yeah, I'm going back to back with Keld, with the rest of my movement, and that's the end of my turn.
Okay. You run over back to the team. Nyx, you are up.
How many of them are over there that he left alone?
2.
2. Okay. How are they looking?
Pretty good. One of them has taken no damage.
Okay. To blight or to do another thing? That's always the question.
That's the only question. Is it blight or is it not blight?
Is it murder one or not?
Yeah, blight will probably get a kill on a lot of this, as you watched one of them crumple immediately.
Yeah.
It's murder 2 at this point. Like we're in self-defense, so
True.
Yeah.
not
I
murder
mean-
1, murder 2.
I mean, Russ did start the fight, so now we're kind of in the weird
It's
logistics
true.
of it.
He did start it. We're gonna have to talk
It's
about
true.
that.
We have to talk about that. To blight or not to blight, Nyx?
Let's blight the really healthy one.
Okay, let's see what level.
4.
Okay,
We gotta keep this 5th level just in case.
just in case. That's the same number on the dice, and it's not enough.
Okay, so that was what, 64? Yeah, that's math. 64.
Okay. He still stands.
Wow. Look at him.
He looks bad, but you watch as like he begins to rot from the top and like part of his head falls onto the ground, but he still stands.
How far away are they?
About
Could I get
50
there? and-
feet.
Nope, that won't work. I'll just stand here, stare at
Okay.
him.
You look over at him. Should have went back in the tree. I'll do that. Oops. We'll go back in the tree, don't worry. It is now Russ's turn. And we're just gonna hit a bunch of times. Nothing else to do. Give everything the bomb. That'll be 2 out of 3 hits. And okay. Russ is just focusing on one and is now just hitting them. He has nothing else. He has no more key left. It's just hitting stuff. That is his turn. Keld, you are up.
Cool. Okay, so how many are left? 2?
There are 2 next to you, and there are 2 of them like 50 feet away.
And I will focus on these guys. All right. 20 something to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
All right. 18 damage to that guy.
He looks bad. This guy looks rough as you cleave off a section of its body, and it like looks at you, and then it like picks up the club with the still remaining arm and is like, death before dishonor, bitch, and just keeps
This
coming at
guy's
you.
so stubborn. God damn it. And that one. No.
He blocks your attack from above and stares into your eyes.
This- This is wild.
I was like, hey man. Anything else?
Nana's
from
not
Kel?
here to absorb the net ones.
No. Nope. I'm gonna stand my ground against this fucker.
He's gonna give you the bonk immediately.
Had a feeling.
He's immediately gonna throw hands with you. One of his attacks will hit, and he's gonna do 12 points of bludgeoning damage as he just like hammering in a fence post. This guy is just like, if I hit something enough, I know it dies. So he's going for it. This random thing that I've given personality to is too proud, and it will not step away to go into a tree and risk an opportunity attack. It stays with you.
Nice.
But he does heal a little bit,
I'll
so good
finish.
for him. This guy also gets to heal again. You heal. You heal. And then the other one is going to go for Russ, because also right here, and is going to miss both attacks. He does not have the same energy as that other guy. He's not mailed to the same stuff. And then those other 2 guys are going to step into the tree and pursue their quarry, and they're just gonna go try to bludgeon the shit out of Fen again. They picked a target. They go into the tree, appear in a tree next to him, jump out, and start bludgeoning him. So that's 2 hits. And 1 hit. So 3 hits.
What are the numbers on this?
What do you mean?
What were the numbers on the dice to hit?
20 somethings?
Okay, never mind. That's fine.
Why?
I
Wait,
was
is there
deciding
something you
whether I
wanted to
wanted to
use?
cast a shield or not.
Oh, okay. I don't
Um,
know.
Okay, no.
Also, sometimes you don't get to know the numbers. So
Okay.
you kind of have to be like, I'm gonna cast shield on the first one or the last
Okay.
one, or
Yeah, no. Fen will just take the hits. That's all.
okay. You're welcome to use your shit. I just don't remember what shit you guys have. Oops.
See you guys later.
Fen, you are going to take your time, D&D Beyond. $42 points of damage.
Fen falls unconscious under a flurry of
Just
bark
a
and
volley.
blows. Yeah.
Bonkuses.
All right. They feel pretty content with what they have done here. Yeah, it's just kind of a moment where they lift their clubs. Like we felled someone. Very excited about it. That's all of their turns. Fen, death saving throw. And you can send that to me, and I will perceive it. All right, that is Fen's turn, unless it was a nat 20, and you can say, I got nat 20 and jump up. But
Oh.
if not, Nyx, it is your turn.
Yeah. So, bonus action spell. I always forget what I'm allowed to do with them when I do bonus action spells. Is it I can do a cantrip with it? Okay. All right, Fen, wake up. You're gonna
Up.
get, let's see, 11 back. Good morning. Then one of these ones that seem really mad at him, I will use produce flame
Okay.
and throw a fire at it. I have to actually roll to hit.
Let's see.
Oh, it's a 19 on the dice plus 12.
Yeah, you this hit.
Yep. 3d8. 14 fire damage.
14. And he goes up in fucking flames. This thing like is like, yay, and it's like, oh, he's getting back up, whoosh, and is just immediately engulfed in flames and just collapses as ash.
Yeah. I'd like to be right next to Fen if I can get there with my 30 feet, just so they have a
Yeah,
different
he
target.
he came over to the group, so you can just
Yeah.
kind of like step into
I'm just
place and be
here.
next to Finn.
If the
That's
other
chilling.
stick creature wants to try to hit me instead, that'd be nice.
If you want. Okay. It is Russ's turn. He's gonna focus on this injured one in front of him. That's 2 out of 3 hits. And dabblage. Minimum damage. Minimum damage. Oh, so close. Ugh. What do I have to do to get to do that? We will bonus action slap this thing in the face. Okay. Russ turns focus to this one that has been hunter's marked, and I guess the hunter's mark is gone if we Zephyr striked. I don't know the whole order of operations. But Russ takes the Morning Star and just crushes this thing into the dirt. And another one is felled. That is Russ's turn. And Keld, you are up. There is one next to you, and there's one that's kind of next to you.
Hmm.
And they're all here. There are two. They both look okay. One of them looks worse, but
I guess I'm gonna go for the one that is right next to me, since we've
Sure.
been locked in it. What the fuck? Tired of these nat ones, y'all.
oof. Do you think Keld's getting exasperated?
Maybe.
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. 18.
Okay. As you were.
Not that exasperated.
Not exasperated enough, bitch.
17.
The
to
most
hit.
patient member of the party.
God love
Uh,
him.
17 does not hit.
Damn it. That's it. No.
Disadvantage roll. I roll wisdom again. All right. Anything else, Keld?
No.
He looks you in the fucking eye. And he swings. One of his is going to land as the other one just kind of like skids off of your shield and he comes back in and hits.
Mm.
You take 10 points of bludgeoning damage, and yeah, he'll stay locked in combat with you and continue to take healing from the earth. And then the other one who is attacking Fen is down. Nyx comes over to try and harry it. High or low, Nyx?
Hi.
It's going to attack you.
Good. Give me some damage.
I would love to. Here I come. It's going to take both of its attacks against you. What's your AC?
16.
Okay, these are in the 20s. We're chill.
She's not that good.
So both hit. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 d4s plus 8. You take 28 points of bludgeoning damage as this guy looks at you. It just like raises his and then brings it down and just starts hitting at you. It's new focus.
I'd love to use my reaction to make it do a con save for my Halo of Spores.
Yeah. Nat 1.
Cool. It's 7 necrotic damage.
Okay. 7 necrotic damage. Cool. As these little glowing spores move around and just sort of swarm into this thing. You know,
Yeah.
they're just little guys, so they can't do much, but they're doing it. They're doing their best.
It's like, a sunburn almost. Just
Yeah.
It'll get
Fen,
real
you
gnarly in a
fall
couple
unconscious. I need give me a Constitution saving throw, Fen, because we forgot to do something.
Say 22.
Okay.
No, 21. Sorry.
That's fine.
yeah.
Okay. You hold back this just terrible wave of nausea and are conscious. You are currently prone. What would you like to do?
Are there any of them within 5 feet of Fen?
Yeah, there's one right next to you.
All right, cool. With disadvantage, he's taking 2 shots at that one.
Okay.
Does an 18 hit?
18 just hits.
Okay, and with the second one, yeah, the second one misses. But so I imagine Fen, like, as he's trying to stumble to his feet, he like gets on his knees, he like slams the end of his bow into the ground, and he draws back from like on his knees and fires or looses an arrow at this thing. And like the fake ass arrow misses, but he like out of muscle memory had like actually a real arrow that he put on there, and then the real one hits. So we'll figure out
The
how much
real
damage
arrow
that does.
slams into this thing and it shatters.
And
so
yeah,
that
and
arrow
Nyx is within 5
explodes
feet
on
of this
impact.
thing, right? So
Yeah.
all right. And I don't actually have I fell unconscious, so I would have lost all of my hunter's mark. So
Were we rolling for concentration? I don't know. I don't
oh
think
well,
we did.
I fell unconscious, so I can't keep concentration then, right?
Oh no, I'm just
Yeah.
saying earlier on when you were getting bludgeoned
Oh,
to
I
maintain
think
concentration
I
on
think it all
Hunter's
happened
Mark.
within one turn anyway. So
It doesn't matter. How
Yeah.
much damage?
all right.
How much damage for this little guy who just wants to bonk?
23 points of damage.
Oof. Okay.
And yeah, bonus action disengage to to back up a little and not be in this thing's range, and
Okay.
use some movement. I use half my movement to get up, but use the rest to like not get smacked immediately in the face.
Yep. You stand up, and as you are backtracking, you can see the muck that is covering your arms, and it is the same muck that that creature crawled out from. And you feel just the amount of things that had to be in that fucking mud are now in your blood, under your skin. And as you kind of wipe away at the mud, you can see that lichen that is still there, and you brush that off too as you backpedal away from these creatures.
Hashtag fuck the muck.
Nyx, it's your turn.
Let's light it on fire.
There you go.
The last one burned up real nice. This one can meet its friend. Yeah. 16 plus 12. Yeah. Yeah.
We're making contact.
We're burning this stick man. Ooh. Ow. 22 fire damage.
So doubled to 44.
44.
This guy turned to ash, still standing, 1 hit point. He looks at you like you can't fell me.
This thing's the
What
fucking Highlander.
These 2 remaining guys are like, you can try to kill us, but you can't, you won't. Anything else, Nyx?
No.
Okay. Russ looks at this thing holding on by its tiny little thread and is gonna go give it the womp. Then we go back to his page, please. That just hits. I'm not gonna roll for damage. That one crumples under the attack. He turns his focus for the next 2 attacks to the other one. Both hit. 10, 15. Okay. And then bonus action, give it a slap. He will stay in melee with it. That is Russ's turn. Keld, you are up.
This guy still here in front of me.
This guy still here in front of you. Now Russ is like hitting it with a morning star, and this guy's like, no, not me. You messed
He's
with the wrong piece
strong.
of wood. You messed
He's
with the
so
wrong piece of wood
strong.
today.
It's just too much. Nat 20.
It's just too much. Would you like to throw some smites on that?
Yes. I
Okay.
think. Yeah.
Well, you get to double all of your dice outcomes. So this is the paladin dream of smiting and then getting to double your dice outcome. Embrace your dream.
Hold on. I have to do. I have to add the Wrathful Smite.
Oh, that's a bonus action. You would have had to do that first.
Oh, I see.
But you can do a higher level divine smite. If you use a spell slot, you add divine smite damage.
Yes.
And that does not take a bonus action. You just get to do that when you hit. So
I
you
will
can
do that.
And then whatever you get on your dice, double that number.
$40 damage.
Plus did you add your modifier?
Mm-hmm.
What does it matter? He has exactly 40 hit points left. Hard to tell because I just scratched it out, but he has 40 hit points left. And
What
it's
the
back.
hell?
He had
Jesus.
40 left. Keld,
Jesus.
how do you do this?
Just split right down the middle with wrath. Or with divine.
Just your emotional wrath.
I'm angry.
Divinely emotional wrath.
You would say that you're angry, Keld?
Maybe not angry. Keld's
Uh-huh.
frustrated.
Okay. I'll wait. As this thing
Nice try.
crumples and turns to just a mass of wood, as if it had never been animate. And you kind of stand in the silence of the space for a moment. Russ kind of like catching his breath.
Battery low.
There you go. And like puts his morning star away and starts like like brushing himself off. All right, does anyone need a rest or should we keep moving?
Hmm.
Mm.
Maybe a rest would be good.
Short one. Yeah.
I'll make sure all these little wood things are burned up.
Yeah. You all take a rest.
Mm.
I'll walk perimeter.
Well, maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you should just stay here and
I'm good. Thank you,
rest
Fen.
as well. All right, I'm not the boss of you. Understood.
I'm glad we understand. And he is going to, he doesn't leave the area, but he stays up and he is going to be watching out for trouble as you just had a loud combat. He is going to roll perception. And he's going to roll a wisdom saving throw. Okay. And you guys sit in the muck for an hour. As Russ kind of keeps an eye out, drawn in by some of these constantly moving trees. And you can see that like Russ is like slowly getting more and more on edge, but walks the perimeter and seems like very convinced he has to do that. You can see that there was no other thought in his mind. This is what he's doing right now as he walks the perimeter. I'm gonna roll a luck check. Occasionally you see eyes looking at you in the darkness, light that is able to catch on predator eyes, but you are able to get through a long rest unimpeded. But Fen, you cannot stop like clawing at your skin. It is a home for pests. It is a place of rot, and you have to, it is taking everything you have, your willpower, to not begin tearing at your skin, wanting to remove it from your body, as you just have to keep focused on, like, I need my skin. And if the bugs are, how slowly will they eat me? How long can I last? It's just, you are convinced you are being eaten alive. But you guys get a short rest. Fen, you can heal half of whatever you get from your hit dice.
Done. Fen's not blooded anymore.
There you go. Anybody else, if you're using hit dice, by all means. And after the hour, Russ sort of like comes back over. All right, it's going to be dark soon, so let's find a good spot. And you guys begin to trek for to finish your final leg of this journey. And some of these trees are big enough that you can kind of fit into their crooks, but there's nowhere to hide. It's not like the temple. No matter where you go, you are at the mercy of the forest, and that becomes even more apparently clear as you will not have the bubble tonight.
Mm,
Right, so blindfolds? Is that what you guys have been doing?
Yes.
yes.
All right. That sounds... I'll just meditate or something. Till I pass out, I suppose. This place. Oh, this place.
It's a special kind of place.
Special is a
not
word
been-
for it.
It's not been fun, but it's necessary.
You can see Russ sits down and like is now actively trying to meditate, like is realizing he is in a pickle and is like trying to actually now meditate while everyone gets comfortable at camp. Are you guys, what are you doing to set up? What's
So comfortable.
what's the vibe?
Leftover time.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
first leftovers.
Yeah, you guys are able to eat some nice tasty food if you are so inclined.
And think
Do you
about
s-
home.
And you think about home and you got to see your parents for half a second.
Mm.
And what a nice day. Yeah, it's been rough, but you got through that tree maze, you defeated these creatures, and you have made up considerable ground. Do you set up your
Our totems.
your displays? Yeah, you do
Of
set up your little
course.
totems?
Yeah.
I think final setup is the totem that he was given, and he's gonna run some string around the immediate area and see if he can make some sort of tripwire or alarm as like a triggered trap. Not a trap. It's not going to hurt anybody, but like at least it'll potentially alert us if something comes near.
All right, give me survival just to see how that goes.
22.
You're pretty content that if something at least stumbles into this, that it'll make some sort of noise. So you are able to do what you can with that. And you have your food, you drink some water, and you scratch at your skin as if it needs to be separate from your bone. And it's time to put on your blindfolds. Nothing between you and the darkness. Does everybody put on their blindfolds and go to bed?
Yes. Can the DM rule on whether I set a trap or not?
You said it wasn't a trap.
But it was a triggering mechanism. It's not going to harm somebody, but it would still
Yeah,
trigger.
I mean, you think it's gonna work. Oh, and if you're asking for bingo, sure.
Okay, cool. Bingo.
Hey guys, I don't
Hey.
remember anything on y'all's bingo sheets or your character sheets.
I got
I'm
bingo.
gonna tell you straight up.
Shit.
Hey, bingo. Inspiration, if that's your
It's
first
only
bingo.
been 3 years.
You've done
We
it.
haven't had the bingo that long. We maybe had it for 2.
2.5.
Yeah, if that's your first bingo, you have an inspiration. And you all put on your blindfolds. Russ kind of like sidles up next to you, Nyx, and like puts an arm around you as you guys kind of all cuddle like into this space of this tree. So no peeking, not even a little bit.
Definitely not.
You haven't peeked once?
No, there's been something following us, I think, and definitely don't want to see it. Not with the sounds it makes.
See, I kind of want to see it. See, this was... I'm not going to look. I'm going to focus on not looking.
If you feel like you want to look, just wake me up a little bit and I will blind you with magic for a moment.
I'll keep that in mind.
It only worked for like a minute, but it would work.
Are you feeling okay? Are you good?
I'm completely fine.
Yeah,
Like
you
a
and
bit
Keld
tired, but
you and Keld seem really good, and like he just like he doesn't say the second half of the sentence, but
Mhm.
like his eyes glance at Fen.
I think we might need to do something like we did today in the morning.
Today's been something.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens in the morning. Strange. And all of you begin to take your rest. And it does not take long. In the distance, you can hear scrape as something drags itself closer and closer and closer to where you have built the word camp cannot be given to this space. You sit on little mats against a tree, and this thing scrape the snap of twigs under its body as it gets so close. There's no bubble to keep it out. You can feel movement around you, next to you. Nyx, it touches your face. The tap of fingers against your skin. It pushes your head to the side and kind of like pushes over and past you, and you can feel the weight of its body, and like there's a dampness from its skin that sort of begins to seep through your clothes, and you have to just sort of tense up as Russ is like holding you close, and you can feel how tense he is. As the urge to rip his blindfold off and just go ham on this thing is so intense. I'm gonna actually have him roll for it.
I'll cast blindness on him.
Do you have to be able to see someone to cast blindness?
I know. Let's.
Does it say a target you can see?
Oh yeah, it does. JK.
Yeah. So you'd have to like peek and be like, I'll look, thank you.
if
So
anyone's gonna look.
he'll get advantage because you were like, don't you do it. And he likes you and trusts you.
No. She'll be like
you
squeezing
can-
his hand with the one working hand she has.
Yeah, like keep it together, buddy. And it's just like, you can hear his breathing even out as he begins to try and go into like a meditative state, because he's like, if there's a monster on top of you, you start punching it. That's what you do. Then as you sit there scratching at your arms, unable to stop, you feel like a damp hand touch the injuries on your arm. And it's just like a slime that is left in its wake as it pushes your shoulder and moves past you, scrape, slide as it moves around and past you, like it is serpentining through the team. And there is a strange heat when you can feel its breath against your face. There is a heat from where its eyes are, like small fires burning next to your skin. It stays. It finally kind of, you hear rustles into place right next to Keld and just sits there. Keld, you can feel burning eyes on you. It is unmoving, staring, waiting. Does anybody take off their blindfold?
I'm
Rust
being
is-
tested.
God tests me every day.
You can't make us look at her eyes.
You can't make me, Jillian. First off, you can't, and you won't. And you know it is there because you do not hear it leave. It stays. And eventually, if you are willing, you are able to will yourselves to sleep or to meditation.
Thank
But you
God.
know it is part of your group and sitting there, whatever it is.
Sleepover.
Feld's like, I mean, he's weird. Whatever this is weird, but
Maybe she's just watching over us. Oh.
yeah,
And she just wants to hang out.
yeah. No damage has taken place. Just
Maybe she's
sliding
lonely.
around. Kel, that's a thought that sticks with you. Maybe she's lonely.
Hmm.
And sleep comes as best it can. You're woken up by every sound. So it is not a good rest, but it is the best you can acquire in this moment. And you eventually get a long rest. I'm not going to narrate us waking up. Not quite yet. But I'd love to do some rolls really quick to end this out for us. I need wisdom saves from everybody except Roshan.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes, please. And then tell me as you learn.
15.
The natural 20, so it makes it 23.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
25.
Nana, roll with advantage.
Ooh. Well, had the better one on the first one. That's okay. I hope it's okay.
What is it?
The 17?
Okay.
Better than me.
Rest. I'll keep all of Russ's numbers to myself. And now I need wisdom saving throws from Fen, Nyx, Keld, and Russ.
15.
You said the wisdom?
Yep.
18.
I had a nat 20, so 31.
Holy
Jesus.
shit. Thank God for you. Nyx is fine, guys.
What-
Nyx
She's
was
what-
always going to be
What
fine.
is
having a
your
great time.
What is your wisdom saving modifier?
Plus 11.
Jesus.
God damn.
That's why she's been fine this whole time.
These
I
woods are
know.
great, guys.
Gods, I love her so much.
Nana's is +2.
Oh.
So is Russ.
Hmm.
And as the night creeps on, and eventually the almost palpable warmth of the day comes, that is where we are going to stop. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. We love telling you guys a story. If you'd like to see more of that story, you can head over to youtube.com/the Dice Cult and watch past episodes of On the Backs of Gods, other D&D games, one-shots, Vampire the Masquerade, whatever you're feeling. We probably got something for you. If you want to keep up with us, we are at Backs of Twitter. If you want to keep up with all of us, we are at the Dice Cult on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to go into the chat or the box below, you can get some beautiful dice that are here to tell a story. And they love doing wisdom saving throws, is what I've learned. And we love them for that. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Once again, love telling you guys a story. We will be here same time, same place, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, cultists.